Hey, Bougie Gang. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Pretty much it's a good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock here on the East Coast. So if you are lucky enough to still be experiencing the morning, good morning to you. Good afternoon to most. Good evening. If you are visiting with us in other parts of the world, it's Sunday. Okay. Um, how's everybody doing? Guys, we had such a busy week this week. There was so much going on, and your girl is still trying to get caught up on everything. But I wanted to talk about this story. But we're gonna get into it in just a minute. But I wanted to talk about what we talked about on Friday night. I meant to come over here yesterday, but I got caught up over on Love Lies and Lace Fronts because I hadn't been there in a whole week, and we had to get caught up on some mommy stuff. So here I am. Friday night, we talked about the state's response to the motion to suppress evidence collected in the vehicle search. And if you hadn't seen it, it's posted. I shared it on the community post. It's in the playlist. It's all of the things. If you follow on Patreon, it's there. Um, Check it out. Basically, the state of Georgia, specifically Will Wooten, responded to Tight Suit Roberto's motion to suppress evidence collected in the vehicle search. And a lot of you guys had really very thoughtful comments like, it goes, and I'm paraphrasing, it goes to show you that Nesto is concerned about evidence collected in the vehicle search. Obviously, yes, that's very much correct. However, according to Will Wooten, like, we've given you 3 discovery listings and none of this stuff is in any of the discovery that we're currently using. So you're not going to use this process to try to eliminate evidence for other cases that you have pending, sir. I am paraphrasing, but that's basically the gist of it. And he went into detail about his other charges, the aggravated sexual assaults, the trafficking, the rape, the things as well as possession of child pornography. He was like, you're not going to use this case to call to question evidence, number one, we're not even using, but also evidence really pertinent to other cases. So if he didn't do anything, in my opinion, is that I don't know if that activated Ernell Winfrey or not. But those cases have been dormant for like 8 to 9 months now. There's been no action on them. Not saying that there will be, but you never know. I mean, he's trying. And you would think, even without an indictment, maybe they would file some type of motion over there on those cases. I don't know, but not my problem. But we talked about that Friday night. So if you missed that video, go check it out. Comment if you have any questions. We'll talk about it later this week. You guys know the Sarah Boone trial is over. Sarah Boone was found guilty of second-degree murder of George Torres. The Torres family left out the building. YouTube Streets was there, guys. If JLR investigates, any of you guys who watch JLR was at the door when the prosecutors came out, when the Torres family came out, when damn James Owens came out. We might watch that before we finish this live up, but he was there when Fox 35 Orlando and a couple of other news outlets were interviewing James Owens. And then down the courtyard, he caught the interview that they were having with the 9th District State Attorney, who was also prosecuting Stephon Stearns for the murder of Madeline Soto, along with the shitload of child pornography that he's got going on too. Nobody asked him a question about that, or at least it wasn't televised at the time. And I was thinking to myself, ask him a question about Stephon Stearns after they finished, but they didn't, but that's okay. But there was an interview with Mr. J and Mr. Cacciatore. So we'll take a minute towards the end to watch some of that because it was very interesting. But of course, they're going to be very careful about what they say because sentencing is still coming. And in honor of the victim and the victim's families, I'm sure they wanted to kind of reserve comments until the bitter end so that they can make sure that they don't do anything to taint the process so that the accused, now the convicted, gets what she deserves, right? So, but very interesting. If you caught that coverage this week, I really appreciate you guys supporting and or just, coming through to hang with us. It was interesting court watching and all of that. So, but anyway, this happened the other day. So this happened 2 days ago. Let's check out this news story. So, um, I guess let me preface it with we know that there's some problems going on with YSL, right? Um, and I still have to get myself caught up on that, but I know that it's been alleged and there's been some talk that there are negotiations going on. There were some grave mistakes made recently, and we're going to see how things are going to unfold this week. That being said, 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? This was filed in the United States District Court of Central District of California on 10/24. So what was that, Thursday? And I think Sir was arrested on the 25th. So let's check this out. So not that this has anything to do with YSL at all, but there is another rapper who is in deep trouble. Lil Durk was arrested in a murder for hire resulting in a death. Okay. So let's check out the story. I didn't follow the story, but we know I think there was we'll get into it. Mocha Wine. I don't know enough about it to talk about it. I do know that there was we'll talk about it. All right, let me get some time. I couldn't cover everything because sis, this is a one woman show. But we will get to it. We'll get to it, maybe a high level overview. But unfortunately, this is so nothing new. Not to say that this is not a horrible situation, but these women taking out their own children is unfortunately just become part of what we have to deal with out here. It's just absolutely horrible. Okay. But yeah, let me get some this was going on at the same time. Yes, I'm very aware of the story, but I couldn't cover it at the same time as Sarah because you know, sis had to make some choices. But it's out there, the Leilani Simmons or Simon, I think it's Simon's trial, and it's no doubt she was going to be found guilty. I mean, she's nuts, you know what I'm saying? Like, and who else? No one had access to a 2 and 3 year old, you know what I'm saying? She's, the woman's got 3 kids and she was pissed about the baby father. But let me stay on topic, guys. There's so many stories to talk about. Comment down below if there's something you want me to talk about, but just keep, so we're on this right now. Rapper Lil Durk was arrested in a murder for hire plot, and it's pretty serious. So let's get into it. I want to play this real quick, and then I got the complaint. How the FBI came to the conclusions that they did, but let's hear a little bit from ABC News about what happened in case you don't know what was going on.
Rapper Lil Durk has been arrested and charged with a murder for hire plot. The Chicago native, whose real name is Dirk Banks, was arrested in Florida by the U.S. Marshal Service. The 32-year-old's arrest comes as 5 other people in Chicago were arrested in connection with the investigation. According to the complaint, Banks and his co-conspirators allegedly worked together to, quote, track, stalk, and attempt to murder a target at a Los Angeles gas station, firing at least 18 rounds into the person's vehicle, striking and killing a passenger in the car. Banks made his first court appearance this afternoon in Miami. Banks' lawyer asked for privacy after leaving court, telling ABC, quote, "We will at this time. I want to bring in ABC News contributor and Sirius XM radio host Mike Muse and ABC News contributor and criminal defense attorney Shauna Lloyd for more on all of this. And Shauna, I want to start with you on this. The charges against these men include conspiracy to commit murder for hire and use of a machine gun in a violent crime resulting in a death. The most serious charge carries up to the death penalty if convicted. So, I mean, I know it's early, but how do you see this playing out?
You know, Alex, this is a very serious charge. Conspiracy is one of those charges that all it takes is voluntary knowledge. So as long as you had any conversation with two or more about something, a plan to further this plot for hire, and it resulted in a death, you are looking at those either life imprisonment and up to the death penalty. So it does not take a lot to be convicted of conspiracy charges. Now, they do have to show that he was voluntarily a part of this conspiracy, and they're going to have to show that he knew what the end goal of the conspiracy is. And so that's the burden. But conspiracy does not take as much as other charges. So this is a very serious crime.
Mike, you know, one of the things that strikes me about this is Durk has long touted himself as the voice, especially from Chicago. He's noted his connection to the trenches, but also he's had a kind of a stellar 2024, appearing on some hit TV shows and new music on the way. He just celebrated a birthday, so I'm curious. I mean, how is
I mean, won't people? I mean, people do their best to stay out of trouble now. That's nothing new. Let's see if this is gonna come back.
the music and entertainment world
We're having some buffering. Okay, let's give it a minute. Let's pivot over here while we're waiting. So this is what was on the United States Attorney's Office, Central District of California. So this is the detail that they put out. Basically, they said Chicago rapper Lil Durk arrested on complaint alleging he ordered murder attempt that resulted in a fatal shooting near the Beverly Center. Los Angeles Grammy Award winning Chicago rapper has been arrested on a federal criminal complaint alleging he conspired with others to murder a rival rapper, resulting in the shooting and the murder that took place at a gas station near the Beverly Center shopping mall in Los Angeles, August of 22. An attack that resulted in a family member of a rival being shot and killed, the Justice Department announced today. Durk Banks, 32, aka Lil Durk, was arrested in Miami, near Miami International Airport late Thursday on a complaint charging him with conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit murder for hire, resulting in death. He made his initial appearance this afternoon in United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida and remains in federal custody. His arraignment is expected to occur in Los Angeles federal court in the coming weeks. Mr. Banks is charged with orchestrating a cold-blooded murder that resulted in the death of the rival's family member, said United States Attorney Martin Estrada. Not only that, the shooting occurred in open at a gas station at a busy intersection, endangering many others in the area. Violent gun crime is this sort is devastating to our community, and we have zero tolerance for those who perpetrate such callous acts of violence. The apprehension of Mr. Banks as he attempted to leave the United States is once again proof the FBI and our extraordinary partners at Los Angeles Police Department have a long reach, said Akil Davis, assistant director in charge of the FBI Los Angeles field office. No excuse can justify this violent act, and let me be clear, while you're going about your life thinking you got away with it, the FBI is piercing together the facts that will serve as your undoing. Causes like these that span multiple states and jurisdictions and complicated and oftentimes only to be resolved through the collaboration of multiple departments, said Los Angeles Police Chief Dominic Choi. This arrest is a culmination of combined efforts to our partners at the U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI, LAPD Operation West Bureau homicide detectives who discovered that Durk, aka Lil Durk, was involved in this heinous murder. The hundreds of hours spent on the investigation included surveillance, authorizing numerous search warrants, using forensic technology, the tireless investigation, travel, and collaboration alongside federal partners led to the arrest. I am appreciative of the dedication of those involved. According to the complaint filed Thursday night, Banks is the leader of a Chicago based rap collective known as Only the Family, or OTF. Law enforcement believes OTF also acts as a group of individuals who engage in violence, including murder and assault. The Banks direction and to maintain their status in OTF. Banks feuded with victim identified in court documents as TB. The feud stemmed from a November 6, 2020 murder in which an associate of TB shot and killed an OTF member named Davon Bennett, aka King Von. Bennett and Banks were close friends. In response to Bennett's murder, Banks allegedly put a bounty on TB's life. On August 19th, 2022, several OTF members and associates used two vehicles and worked in tandem to track, stalk, attempt to murder TB for hours, culminating in the shooting at a gasoline station located near the Beverly Center Mall. The co-conspirators fired at least 18 rounds at TB's vehicle, striking and killing a victim identified in court records as SR, who was TB's family member who had been traveling with TB. Banks allegedly ordered TB's murder, and the hitman used the money from Banks and OTF related finances to carry out the hit. Banks and flight records show that an OTF member and close associate of Banks coordinated. Let me make this big. Just a second. The Banks allegedly ordered TB's murder, and the hitman used money from Banks and OTF related finances to carry out the hit. Bank and flight records show OTF member and close associates of Banks coordinated and paid for 5 co-conspirators to travel from Chicago to California on the day after the murder. Around the time one-way flights were purchased, Banks told OTF associates booking the flights, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." On same day the hit traveled from Chicago, the hitmen traveled from Chicago to California. Banks also traveled to California in a private jet with another conspirator, Kayvon London Grant, aka Cuz, and Vonnie. Later that day, Grant allegedly purchased ski masks for the shooters to use to commit the murder and paid using credit cards in Banks' name. That was okay. For the other co-conspirators' hotel room, using a credit card in Banks' name for the other co-conspirators' hotel room. On Thursday morning, the federal and local law enforcement in Chicago area arrested Grant and 4 others defendants, charging in a 4-count federal grand jury indictment alleging their roles in the murder for hire plot. After law enforcement made the arrests and executing search warrants in Chicago, the FBI learned that Banks had been booked on 3 international flights scheduled to leave the United States on Thursday. When Banks arrived near one of the departing airports in Miami, specifically law enforcement personnel arrested him. In addition to Grant, the defendants charged in a separate indictment with the grand jury returned on October 17th are DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay. Well, let me go back. DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, aka Didi, Keith Jones, aka Flocka, David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown Eyes, and Asa Houston, aka, is it Boogie? Maybe it's Bougie. Maybe I don't know. Bougie. These 4 defendants, along with Grant, are charged with 1 count of conspiracy, 1 count of use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, and 1 count of using carrying, and discharging firearms and a machine gun and possession of firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence resulting in death. Jones faces an additional count of possession of a machine gun. These defendants made their initial appearance Thursday in the Northern District of Illinois and are expected to be arraigned in United States District Court in downtown Los Angeles in the coming weeks. A complaint and indictment contain allegations that the defendant has committed a crime. Every defendant is presumed to be innocent unless proven guilty in court. If convicted, Banks and the 5 defendants charged in the state indictment each would face a statutory minimum sentence of life in prison. The FBI and Los Angeles Police Department are investigating this matter. Let me see what you guys are saying. Baby, it's crazy, right? Let me make sure I pulled the right thing. Well, I know I do have one of them, but I think I need to go back and find something else. Hold on. Let me see. Okay, hold on a second. Let me pull something else. Mm-hmm. Just a second. I feel like I should have pulled both of these documents and I only pulled one. Just one second. Maybe these are both the same. Hold on a second. Okay, guys. Let me just make sure these are the same. Because I feel like on that ABC News story, they showed something that looked different. And I'm just like, well, maybe I should have pulled the other one too. Nope, it looks like the same thing. Okay, let's go back to the ABC report and see if we can pick up where it left off. And then I've got the indictment. Is this going to play? All right, just a second. It's like it's stuck like Chuck. I was reading this morning. I was like, my God, this is some baby. Okay, let's see if we can get to where we left off. So we left off with the announcer. Okay, let's see if it's gonna, if we go back to the beginning. Okay. I'm gonna leave that. I'll drop the link for it and you guys can watch it on your own. But let's get into this. And then this was like, I was like, oh my God. Let's see. Okay. All right. So this is the complaint, the criminal complaint. Okay. So this is the criminal complaint. I, Sarah Cochran, being duly sworn, declare and state as follows. This is the purpose of the affidavit. This affidavit is made in support of a criminal complaint and arrest against Durk Banks, also known as Lil Durk, aka Mustafa Abdul Malak, for a violation of 18 USC 1958 conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit a murder for hire resulting in death. The facts set forth in this affidavit are based upon my personal observations, my training, experience, and information contained from various law enforcement personnel and witnesses. This affidavit is intended to show merely that there is sufficient probable cause for the requested complaint and warrant, and does not purport to set forth all of my knowledge of or investigation into this matter unless specifically indicated otherwise. All conversations and statements described in this affidavit are related in substance or in part only. I am a special agent with the FBI and have been so employed since April 2010. I am assigned to the Violent Crime Squad in Los Angeles field office and work a variety of crimes, including murder for hire, kidnappings, hostage taking, robberies, extortion, aggravated threats, assaults on federal officers, firearm violations, and felonies at federal facilities. Upon joining the FBI, I attended and graduated from FBI basic special agent training course in Quantico, Virginia, where I received training in a variety of investigative and legal matters, including the topics of Fourth Amendment searches, the drafting of search warrant affidavits, probable cause. In my current role, I am assigned to the Violent Crime Squad, where I've experienced conducting and assisting with multiple violent crime investigations as described. I have formal training in case management, interviewing, interrogation, crisis management, crime scene analysis, cellular phone analysis, evidence collection, social media exploitation, and handling confidential sources. Banks is the leader of a Chicago-based rap collective known as Only the Family, or OTF. In addition to OTF status as a rap collective, I know based on investigation that OTF is also acts as an association, in fact, of individual who engage in violence, including murder and assault, at the direction of banks and to maintain their status in OTF. For example, based on the evidence collected during the investigation, including the interview of witnesses, I know that Banks put a monetary bounty out for an individual with whom Banks was feuding named TB. As detailed below, on August 19th, 2022, multiple OTF members and associated used two vehicles and worked in tandem to track, stalk, and attempt to murder TB at a gas station located in Los Angeles, California. The co-conspirators fired at least 18 rounds at TB's vehicle, striking and killing SR, TB's family member who was traveling with TB. There was a footnote. Due to serious safety concerns, this is the footnote. Let me make this super big. Okay, due to serious safety concerns, this affidavit does not provide identity of these witnesses based on FBI's investigation. I know that witnesses and or their family members have already received threats or have been contacted in what appear to be attempts to influence their participation in the investigation. Number 6, on October 17, 2022, the grand jury sitting in the Central District of California returned an indictment charging 5 co-conspirators, Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Detrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston, which crimes arising from murder, including murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder for hire resulting in death, violation of 18 U.S.C. 1958, C, United States versus Kayvon London Grant et al., case 224-621 MRA. Banks is identified as a co-conspirator 1 in the indictment, which is incorporated herein by reference. Based on the investigation and as described below, evidence shows that Banks ordered TB's murder and that the hitman used Banks and OTF-related finances to carry out the murder. For example, bank and flight records show that an OTF member and close associate of Banks, co-conspirator 3, coordinated and paid for Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, Houston, and another OTF member to travel from Chicago to California on the day before the murder, August 18th, 22. Co-conspirator 3 paid for the flights using a credit card linked to Banks and OTF. Around the time that co-conspirator 3 purchased the co-conspirators' flights to California, iCloud records show that the phone numbers associated with Banks texted co-conspirator 3, "Don't book no flights under no names involved with me." Additionally, on the same day that the hitmen traveled to California, it looks like they took the whole statement from this, but we'll keep going. Additionally, on the same day that the hitmen traveled to California from Chicago, Banks also traveled to California with another charged co-conspirator, Grant, on a private jet. Later that day, Grant purchased ski masks for the shooters to use to commit the murder and paid for the other co-conspirators' hotel room using the credit card in Banks' name. Earlier the morning, October 24th, 24, federal and local law enforcement executed multiple search warrants at locations associated with OTF members in and around Chicago area and arrested Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston. After executing the warrants, the FBI learned that Banks had been booked on at least 3 international flights scheduled to leave the United States today. When Banks arrived near one of the departing airports, he was arrested by law enforcement personnel. I would love to see that body cam footage. Okay. I'm sure it's if it's not circulating yet, it will be. Based on my training and experience, my personal involvement in this investigation, conversations with other law enforcement officers, witness statements, and review of reports and other documents prepared by law enforcement officers, I am aware of the following. Chicago-based hitmen traveled to Los Angeles to murder a rival. On October 17th, 24, a grand jury returned an indictment charging Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston with murder for hire and conspiracy to commit murder for hire, resulting in the death of SR in violation of 18 USC 1958 and discharge of firearms and machine gun in furtherance of a crime of violence, resulting in a death in violation of 18 USC 924 C1A triple I, and a couple of others. I'm not going to read them. The grand jury also charged Jones with possession of a machine gun in violation of 18 USC 922. As alleged in the indictment, on August 19th, 22, SR and others, including SR's family, TB, a rap artist known as QR, were near their vehicle at the gas station across from the Beverly Center in Los Angeles when 3 gunmen opened fire on the vehicle, killing SR. Law enforcement personnel subsequently recovered 18 shell casings from the murder scene. At the time of the murder, TB had a public feud with Banks, aka Lil Durk. Banks is a Chicago-based gang member and leader of the rap collective known as Only the Family, or OTF. The feud stemmed, so there's a footnote too. Okay, this is we'll go down to the footnote first. Based on open source research, I know that Banks has attempted to publicly distance himself from suspected gang and or criminal activity. Lil Durk launches the Durk Banks Scholarship Fund at Howard University with Amazon Music, available at blah, blah, blah. Rapper Lil Durk turned to therapy to cope with tragedies, available at blah, blah, blah. Lil Durk says he ain't a felon anymore after criminal record is cleared. Everyone should get a second chance, available at blah, blah, blah. So they're basically using that recently he has tried to change his brand and also separate himself with good news rather than controversial news, I would imagine, right? The feud stemmed from a November 6, 2020, where an associate of TB shot and killed an OTF rapper named Davon Bennett, aka King Von. Bennett was a member of OTF and Bennett's close friend. According to the open source reporting and witnesses, Banks placed a monetary bounty on TB's life. And then number 3, footnote as described in footnote 1, due to significant concerns about witness safety, this affidavit does not provide the identity of witnesses. Okay. According to, okay, so we read that. Based on the investigation to date, including open source research, my training and experience investigating gangs and violent crime, the witness statements, OTF is a hybrid organization that functions as a banks led music collective and gang. Based on the investigation to date, including conversations with their law enforcement agents and witness statements, Houston and Wilson are associated with OTF, and Lindsay and Jones are associated with other gangs in Chicago. The hitmen traveled using funds linked to banks. I know the following based on my review of LAPD reports, surveillance footage, bank and flight records, witness statements, homicide detectives from LAPD, and federal investigators involved in this case. On August 18th, 2022, the day before SR's murder, OTF members learned of the location of TB from a longtime OTF affiliate, co-conspirator number 4. After OTF members learned this, the following men took one-way flights from Chicago to San Diego: Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, Houston, and co-conspirator 2. The one-way tickets to San Diego were purchased using American Express credit card ending in 2039 and in the name of co-conspirator 3, who is also associated with OTF and banks. Based on the records from Apple, I know that on the same day, the number ending in 995, believed to be associated with banks, footnote 4, facts associating this number with banks, including co-conspirator 3 and Grant saving his number with the contact names associated with banks. Banks self-identified using this number in February 22 text messages to an individual in Florida unrelated to this investigation. So they have it attached to the investigation, but they also have it attached to being used outside of what happened. So it further brings it to Lil Durk. Sent a text message to co-conspirator stating, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. Based on my review of hotel records, I know that Grant rented and paid for rooms at the Sheraton Universal Hotel in Universal City, California on August 18th using an American Express card. So they'll have footage of them checking in, bringing in their luggage, maybe on their floor, going out to, they'll have all kinds of footage from around the hotel, cars, vehicles, what track them to the parking lot. I mean, they probably have so much, it's ridiculous. Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, Houston, and co-conspirator 2 stayed at the hotel the night before the co-conspirators tracked, stalked, and attempted to kill TB. Based on my review of bank records, I know that 2039 and 1015 credit cards were issued under an account belonging to OA and Astronaut Sounds LLC. Based on public information, I know that OA was Banks' manager in and around 2022. Georgia's Secretary of State online cooperation, online corporation records show that Astronaut Sounds LLC is initially registered by OA in 2017. A request of amendment was filed in 2021 and a new manager, Banks, was added to the business. The bank records also showed that Astronaut Sounds American Express account had 4 credit cards issued to it. 4 individuals: Banks, co-conspirator 3, Banks' father, DB, and OA. Based upon my review of records from the private airplane company, I know that Banks and Grant flew on the same airplane from Los Angeles to Miami on August 22 and back to Los Angeles on the 18th, 22, the day before SR's murder. Records from the rental property show that Banks' manager, OA, rented a house in Encino, California from July 1st to October 1st. Based on investigators' review, the photographs of the interior of the Encino rental, I know that the video footage from the August 18th, 2022 podcast shows the host of the podcast with Banks, wherein Banks appears to be inside the Encino house. On the day of the murder, August 19th, 2022, surveillance video shows TB, SR, and others leave their hotel in Los Angeles and enter a black Cadillac Escalade. Surveillance video taken from numerous locations throughout Los Angeles include, I mean, there's just so many cameras it's not worth even trying anybody anymore. Numerous locations throughout Los Angeles, including TB's hotel and the gas station where the murder occurred, show that two vehicles followed the Escalade for hours leading up to the shooting. One vehicle was a white BMW Murder Vehicle 1. Footnote 5. Footnote 5 says, based on the investigation, Grant was the primary driver of Murder Vehicle 1, as discussed above. In addition to driving the vehicle, Grant took steps to help facilitate the murder, including booking the hotel room for the hitman. Additionally, GPS data associated with Murder Vehicle 1 shows that the vehicle was parked outside of a sporting goods store at approximate time, that the four black ski masks matching the appearance of those used by the shooters were purchased. Okay. And okay, so back to G. And the other of the white Infinity, not an Infinity. Okay, because there's a Infinity in question in YSL, but I'm just throwing that. Any of my YSL people, there's an Infinity. Okay. Among other things, surveillance video from, not that that has anything to do with it. It's just a like, oh, okay. Among other things, surveillance video from the murder scene shows Murder Vehicle 2 park in an alley behind the gas station where three shooters wearing black masks exit the vehicle, later identified as Jones, Lindsay, and co-conspirator 2, walked to the gas station and opened fire on the Escalade. The shooters then ran back to Murder Vehicle 2, drove away. Murder Vehicle 1 drove away from the area just minutes after the shooting. Approximately 50 minutes after the shooting, surveillance video from an In-N-Out restaurant in Los Angeles shows Grant Jones Wilson arrive in Murder Vehicle 1. The video also shows Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 arrive at In-N-Out in a black SUV. Based on comparison of surveillance video showing the murder to video from, based on comparison of surveillance video showing the murder to video from the In-N-Out restaurant, law enforcement identified, that Lindsay Jones and co-conspirator 2 were the individuals who opened fire and killed SR. A few hours after the shooting, Jones, Lindsay, Wilson, Houston, and co-conspirator 2 boarded a flight from San Diego to Chicago. Once again, the credit card in the names of co-conspirator 3 was used to pay for one-way tickets. I know the following based on my conversation with other law enforcement agents involved in the investigation and my personal involvement in the investigation. In the early hours of October 24, 2024, law enforcement arrested Grant Jones, Lindsay Wilson, and Houston, and executed multiple search warrants in Chicago area, including a warrant to search the home of co-conspirator 3. Shortly after making these arrests and executing the search warrants on October 24th, the FBI received notifications from U.S. Customs and Border Protection showing that Banks had been booked as a passenger on 2 international flights, one way from Miami to Dubai, United Arab Emirates, connecting through Doha, Qatar, scheduled to depart, leaving. I'm like, oh my God, scheduled to depart the evening of October 24th, and a one-way flight from Florida to Switzerland, connecting via New Jersey, also scheduled to depart the evening of 2024. Was he trying to fake them out? He scheduled 2 flights, one going through Jersey to Switzerland and the other one going from Miami to Dubai Obviously, he was trying to get to Qatar because it was going to Dubai and then connecting. Oh, so he was going to Dubai, but he was connecting through Qatar or Qatar. You think he was trying to fake out? Banks did not board either flight. Footnote 7. So, based on open source research, I believe that UAE does not have a bilateral extradition treaty with the United States. So, it appeared that he was scheduled to go somewhere that did not have what they say is a bilateral extradition treaty with the United States. Banks did not board either flight. Extradition to and from the United States. Overview of the law and contemporary treaties. Congressional Research Service. So Banks did not board either flight. At approximately 6:40 p.m., the FBI received an additional CBP notification that Banks had been booked on a passenger on a private plane departing Miami and destined for Italy, scheduled to depart at approximately 9 p.m. He had 3 flights, y'all. One to Dubai through Qatar, one to Switzerland through Jersey, and then a private jet going to Italy. Okay. At approximately 8 p.m., Banks was arrested by law enforcement in the vicinity. He thought he was getting on that plane, y'all. What? This is the conclusion. For all of the reasons described above, there is probable cause to believe that Banks violated 18 USC, conspiracy to use interstate facilities to commit a murder for hire resulting in the death. Okay, this is the complaint. I will find the indictment. I thought I was pulling down the indictment, but the indictment's out here somewhere. I think I need to, they said to look for it up under the indictment resides with one of the first people who was arrested. I'll find it and then bring it to y'all because we love a good document. I feel like it was under Grant, right? There is an indictment out here, but this is not it. This is the original complaint. So this is giving all the tea surrounding why they had probable cause to arrest Durk. But this is not giving the breakdown of the charges. So, okay, here it is. Hold on. This is the case number. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Y'all. He was going to Italy. Well, he might have been going to Italy, and then once he gets to Italy, get somewhere else. You never know. He probably wasn't going to stay there, but maybe it was going to be the connection gateway to, I don't know. I'm not going to even throw out a country, but it could have been a gateway to elsewhere. I mean, once you get to Italy, I mean, you can go anywhere, right? There's flights leaving to go anywhere in the world and disappear or go someplace where we don't have any agreements with them to send folk back. Okay, let me look this one up. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh. Jesus. This is on some mushigal. Like, it's just, I put the case number in and they all popped up. Hold on a second. Let me show you guys. Girl, I put the case number in and it's like 1, 2, 3. All the cases are here. Okay. It's like, okay, where do we start? I'm just gonna take the first one. Let's take the first one. Because they're probably all up under the same. situation. Baby. Okay, so he got that indictment is dated 10/17. Okay. Let's go here. This is it right here. Okay. Um all right, this is the actual indictment. Okay. Have you guys heard this already? You said him gone? Girl. He's done. Girl, baby. Okay. Let's start reading. This is 18 pages, y'all. Okay, let's see. Let's see how far we get. Let's see. I'm sure we can make it through the whole thing. Okay. At times relevant to, okay, introductory allegations. Okay, so this is the indictment, baby. Look at all of this. This is the indictment from the United States of America on Kayvon London Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones. I'm sure I'm gonna just say it like this. It's quite possible. I don't know. We don't know any of these people. At least I don't. Um, they don't have Dirk's name on here yet because I guess they just wanted to make sure before they pulled the trigger to arrest him that they had all their ducks in a row. But also, that being said, also watching his movement, do you imagine? So on the 17th, they got indicted and picked up in Chicago. 1 week later, Dirk has 3 international flights booked. Like, okay, just on that alone, sir, like, and also, they must have flagged his name because in the other document we heard, um, it said that they got a flag. They received information from Border Patrol. So I guess when you book an international flight, it's going through a system before you even get to the airport. They know you're leaving before you even get to the airport, before you finish packing up all your outfits good. Okay. Once you get that ticket, it's already being fed through a system. So Reed, friend, your voice is so soothing. I'm laying on the couch, drifting off to girl, stay awake. I'm not trying to put y'all. This is I got you. I appreciate that though. But don't fall asleep, girl. Sit up. Make a good cup of coffee or something. Listen to this. I heard about it, but didn't have the tea. Yes, mocha wine. Mocha wine. We hope you're doing much better, boo-boo. Okay, let's get into it. 18 pages, y'all. So this is the introductory allegations. Now we just read that whole other document, so probably be prepared to hear more. There might be other details that we did not know, so it's worth a read. Let's just get into it. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get our good background. So grand jury charges introductory allegations at the times relevant to this indictment. Defendants Kayvon, I'm just going to say Grant, who's AKA Cuz, Vonnie, DeAndre Detrell Wilson. Um, I hope it's not Bougie. Asa Houston, Bougie. So Kayvon Grant, DeAndre Wilson, and Asa Houston and co-conspirator 1 through 5 were members or associated with an organization called Only the Family, which among other things, produced and sold hip hop music from artists primarily from Chicago, Illinois area. Defendant Keith Jones, aka Flocka, and David Brian Lindsay, aka Brown Eyes, were members of other gangs in Chicago, Illinois. On or about November 6, 2020, DB, a high ranking OTF member, got into a physical altercation with TB at a nightclub. So now we're hearing more. So DB got into a physical altercation with TB at a nightclub in Atlanta, Georgia. During the fight, an associate of TB pulled out a gun and shot DB multiple times, killing him. After the murder, co-conspirator, so that must be, was that King Von? After the murder, co-conspirator 1 made clear he encoded language. He made clear in coded language that co-conspirator 1 would pay a bounty or monetary reward So co-conspirator 1 at this time on October 17th, they didn't want to name, but you see DB, DB is Dirk Banks, okay? Dirk, because he's co-conspirator 1. That co-conspirator 1 would pay a bounty. So on October 17th, they didn't mention his name, but we know by his initials, baby. So Dirk got into a fight on November 6, 2020 with TB. TB and someone else are alleged to have killed King Von, DB's friend, right? Pulled out a gun and shot DB multiple times. During the fight, the associate of TB pulled out. So DB wouldn't be girl, let's just keep going through it. High-ranking OTF member got into a physical altercation with TB at a nightclub in Atlanta, Georgia. During the fight, associate of TB pulled out a gun and shot DB multiple times. So maybe that was King Von. I'm not sure. After the murder, co-conspirator 1 made it clear in coded language that co-conspirator 1 would pay a bounty on the monetary reward, or make payment to anyone who would take part in killing TB for his role in DB's murder. And co-conspirator 1 would be who they arrested the other day. On or about August 18th, 2022, the conspirators learned that TB was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles, California. As alleged in counts 1 and 2, after learning of TB's location, defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 traveled from Chicago, Illinois to Los Angeles, California for the purpose of murdering TB. On that same day, August 18th, 2022, defendant Grant also traveled by private jet to Los Angeles, California. Do you notice how they did not mention Dirk Banks on the same day, but they said Grant and Banks traveled together? So that's what we know now, right? As alleged in count 1 and 2 on August 19th, 2022, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 used 2 vehicles to track, stalk, and attempt to kill TB by gunfire, including with a fully automatic firearm, resulting in the death of SR. Let me ask you guys this question. Once they shot up the gas station, wouldn't someone have stayed behind to, okay, I see you, Penny. Thank you. Wouldn't someone have stayed behind to make sure the job was done? Because clearly there was a homicide. Maybe they felt justified, like in, okay, we didn't get the main person we wanted, but we got one of their family members, so this is still going to touch them the same. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think, but if it's a professional situation, don't those people stand behind to make sure they got who they needed to get versus we got somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like, okay. Count 1. Paragraphs 1 through 4 are the introductory allegations of this indictment and are alleged and incorporated here. Object of conspiracy, beginning on a date unknown, but no later than on or around August 18th, 2022, and continuing on or about August 19th in Los Angeles County within the Central District of California and elsewhere. Defendants Kayvon Grant, also known as Cuz, DeAndre Wilson, Keith Jones, David Brian Lindsay, and Asa Houston and co-conspirators known and unknown conspired and agreed with each other to knowingly use facilities of interstate and foreign commerce, namely airplanes, cars, cell phones, and the internet, with intent to murder TB. Be committed in the murder of TB, be committed to in violation of the laws of any state, namely the state of California, as consideration for the receipt of and consideration for the promise and agreement to pay anything of of pecuniary value, name, money, and lucrative music opportunities with OTF in violation of Title 18 United States Code, Section 1958. The use of interstate facilities to commit murder that was the object of conspiracy resulted in the death of SR by means by which the object of the conspiracy was to be accomplished. The object of conspiracy was to be accomplished in substance as follows. Co-conspirator 1 would place bounties on the individuals that co-conspirator 1 and other OTF members wanted to kill, including TB as part of the bounty conspirators. Let me take that off the screen. Co-conspirators known and unknown. Let me move this too. Okay. Let's see. Co-conspirators 1 would place bounties on individuals that co-conspirator 1 and other OTF members wanted to kill, including TB. As part of the bounty, co-conspirators known and unknown, including defendant Wilson, would pay anyone who took part in the killing of TB and reward individuals with lucrative music opportunities with OTF. Co-conspirators known and unknown, including defendant Wilson, would recruit others, including defendant Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 would find, track, and kill TB. Defendant Grant would procure cars, ski masks, firearms that would be used by co-conspirators to find, track, kill TB. Using credit cards associated with OTF, co-conspirator 3 would purchase plane tickets for the co-conspirators to fly to California to murder TB. Defendants Williams, Lindsay, Houston, and other co-conspirators would travel to Chicago, Illinois, to Southern California via airplane to find, track, and kill TB. Defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, Houston, and co-conspirator 2 would travel throughout Los Angeles County via cars procured by defendant Grant to find, track, and kill TB. Defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, Houston, and co-conspirator 2 would communicate via cell phones to coordinate logistics and find, track, and kill TB. Defendants Jones and Lindsay and conspirator 2 would fire multiple shots at TB, killing SR, who was a passenger in TB's vehicle. Defendant Wilson would pay the bounty and monetary reward and or cause payment to be made for the killing of SR on or about on behalf of the co-conspirators known and unknown to the conspirators hired to kill TB. I'm sure once they put this indictment out on the 17th, that's when Durk started maybe allegedly starting to book flights, because my God. So a week before he was arrested, all of this is being said. And if someone is reading this narrative and they know what they know that the police know a lot, right? On or about the following dates in furtherance of the conspiracy to accomplish its object, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirators 1 through 5, and other known unknown committed various overt acts in Los Angeles County within the Central District of California and elsewhere, including but not limited to overt act number 1. Hold on a second, y'all. Overt act number 1. Following the killing of DB on or about November 6, 2020, co-conspirator 1 used a coded language. Defendant Wilson, co-conspirator 2, 4, and 5, and others that co-conspirator 1 would pay a bounty or monetary reward to give anyone who took part in the killing of TB. On August 18th, 2022, one or more co-conspirators, including co-conspirator 4, learned that TB was visiting California and staying in a hotel. Overt Act 3. On August 18th, defendant Grant flew from Miami, Florida to Los Angeles, California on a private jet. Also, defendant Grant would help coordinate the murder. Overt Act 4. On August 18th, 2022, co-conspirators, including co-conspirator 5, asked co-conspirator 2 to travel to Southern California later that day. On August 18th, defendant Wilson recruited defendants Jones and Lindsay to travel to California for the purpose of murdering TB and help facilitate such travel by, among other things, texting co-conspirator 3 biographical information about defendant Jones and Lindsay so that co-conspirator 3 could book flights to Southern California, specifically defendant Jones's name, birthday, picture of defendant Jones, ID card, defendant Lindsay's name, date of birth, girl, and picture of defendant. Overt Act 6 on August 18th, 2022, co-conspirator texted co-conspirator 3. Co-conspirator 1 texted co-conspirator 3, don't book no flights under no names involved with me. So we know co-conspirator 1 is who they arrested on Thursday over there in Miami, right? Because it was alleged in the probable cause that Durk was the one who emailed Grant or texted Grant to not book anything. But by then it was too late because they'd already been booking and paying with company credit cards. On August 18th, 2022, using credit cards ending in 2039, OTF credit card number 1, co-conspirator 3 purchased airline tickets for defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston, and co-conspirator 2 to travel from Chicago, Illinois to San Diego, California the same day. Overt Act 8 on August 18th, 2022, co-conspirator 3 confirmed to defendant Wilson via text message that defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay had the same airline ticket confirmation. So he bought the tickets like as a bundle. They're on the same flight itinerary. On August 18th, defendant Wilson messaged a friend on Instagram, on my way to LA. Baby, what? Are you kidding? Girl, 504 said they used a Groupon. They did not, as far as we know, allegedly, but my God. So, baby, I'm not saying another word. They on Instagram, on my way to, so you're now putting yourself, not only is your name on everything, but now you're putting yourself on Instagram telling a friend, on my way to LA. Okay. Overt Act 10, defendant Houston texted co-conspirator 3 on got clear, I'm 15 minutes away from the airport. So they're you know, they're communicating, right? Overt Act 11 on August 18th, defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 flew from Chicago to San Diego via airplane tickets procured by co-conspirator 3 using OTF credit card number 1. On August 18th, 2022, defendant Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 traveled towards Los Angeles County in a car to meet defendant Grant. On August 18th, 2022, defendant Grant purchased 4 black ski masks from a sporting goods store in Los Angeles using cash. But I'm sure they have the register, receipts, footage, everything. On August 18th, 2022, using a credit card ending in 1015, defendant Grant rented a hotel room for co-conspirators located in Los Angeles, California, the Universal City Hotel. On August 18th, 2022, in or around Los Angeles, California, defendant Grant met with co-conspirators and provided defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 with firearms, including a firearm that had been modified to operate a fully automatic machine gun to kill TB. On August 18th, 2022, defendant Grant provided 2 cars for defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, Houston, and co-conspirator 2 to use to find, track, kill TB, a white BMW sedan from a rental company in Los Angeles, and a white Infinity sedan with a fake license plate. Baby, On August 18th, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 traveled in the BMW and the Infiniti to the hotel in downtown Los Angeles, California, where TB was staying, the downtown LA hotel, to find, track, and kill TB. On August 18th, 2022, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 traveled downtown LA where TB was staying to find, track, and kill. On August 19th, using the BMW Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 followed and tracked TB's black Escalade to a marijuana dispensary located on Flower Street in Los Angeles, California. On August 18th, 2022, this is overt Act 20. On August 19th, 2022, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 followed and tracked TB's black Escalade to a clothing store located on Melrose Avenue in West Hollywood, California. To the below image shows the BMW and Infiniti following the black Escalade, in which TB and SR are passengers, as the black Escalade travels towards the clothing store. Okay. So that's the BMW. Okay. This is TB. There's the Infiniti right here. Here's the BMW. These are the two cars here in traffic. Where's the other car? I don't know. But those are them close up. On August 19th, 2020, using the BMW and Infiniti, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 tracked TB's black Escalade to a gas station located on Beverly Boulevard in Los Angeles. The Beverly gas station, the Beverly gas station. On August 19th, 2022, defendant Houston drove the Infiniti to an alley behind the Beverly gas station and parked the vehicle so that defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 could attempt to kill TB. Overt Act 23. On August 19th, 2022, at the, did they delete something? Overt Act 22. Okay, I don't know where the picture is, but it looks like it's missing. Overt Act 23. On August 19th, 2022, the Beverly gas station defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 used firearms procured by defendant Grant, including the fully automatic firearm, to shoot TB's car, striking and killing SR, who was standing next to TB's car while TB was inside. The images below show defendants Jones and Lindsay and co-conspirator 2 firing their guns at TB's black Escalade. This is what I'm going to say. When co-conspirator 1 and Grant took the private jet from Chicago to California, how much do you want to bet that everything was in the bags in the private jet? Because they're not going to check anything. Some of those people go straight to the private jet area versus there could be a separate interest. Separate entrance. But I don't know. I've never flown private, so I have no idea what the process is in checking bags and things of that nature. I mean, we've seen in videos, but I don't know if this is true or not, that sometimes cars just drive right up to the plane and people are getting out of their vehicle and walking straight into the airplane. So we don't know. But how would they did they buy something in LA? We don't hear them saying anything of that, which would make me think that taking a private jet would be essential, because then you would have everything on deck to handle what needed to be handled. So right here, you see the two people shooting. Homie is getting out the car. There they are right there. Overt Act 24 on August 19th in the Infinity, driven by defendant Houston, defendants Jones and Lindsay, and co-conspirator 2 fled the alley behind the Beverly gas station after the co-conspirators shot and killed SR. On August 19th, 2022, defendants Grant, Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 traveled to a hamburger restaurant in Los Angeles where the co-conspirators discussed, among other things, payments to defendants Jones and Lindsay for shooting earlier that day. On August 19th, using an OTF credit card, co-conspirators purchased airline tickets from San Diego, California to Chicago, Illinois for defendants Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2. On August 19th, defendant Wilson, Jones, Lindsay, and Houston and co-conspirator 2 flew back to Chicago from San Diego. Overt Act 28, following SR's murder, defendant Wilson paid defendants Jones and Lindsay on behalf of co-conspirator for their role in the murder. Count 2. Damn. All that was count 1, y'all. Beginning on an unknown date, but no later than on or around August 18th, 2022, and continuing to on or about August 19th, 2022, in Los Angeles County, where in the Central District of California and elsewhere, defendants Kayvon Grant, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, David Lindsay, and Asa Houston, and co-conspirators known and unknown, each aiding and abetting each other, knowingly used facilities of interstate and foreign commerce, namely airplanes, cars, cell phones, and the internet, with intent to murder TB, be committed in violence of the laws of the state, namely the state of California's consideration for the receipt and consideration for a promise and agreement to pay anything of pecuniary value, namely money and lucrative music opportunities with OTF, resulting in the death of SR. Count 3, on or about in Los Angeles County within the Central District of California, defendants already named, each aiding and abetting each other, knowingly carried firearms, including a firearm that defendant Grant, Wilson, Lindsay, and Houston knew to be a machine gun during and in relationship to and possession of such firearms in furtherance of a crime of violence, namely use of interstate facilities to commit murder for hire resulting in death, in violation of Title 18 United States Code Section 1958, as charged in 2 counts of this indictment, and in doing so discharged firearms resulting in death of SR. Count 4, on or about in Los Angeles within the Central District, defendant Keith Jones knowingly possessed a machine gun as defined in Title 18, State Code 921, and Title 26, United States Code 5845, namely a 10 millimeter caliber firearm equipped with an auto sneer conversion device, which was designed and intended solely and exclusively for the use of converting a weapon into a machine gun, which defendant Jones knew to be a machine gun. Forfeiture allegation 1, pursuant to 32.2 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, notice is hereby given to United States of America. Will seek forfeiture as part of the sentence pursuant to Title 18 United States Code, Section 981, Title 28 United States Code, Section 2461, in the event of any defendant's conviction of the offenses set forth in any counts of 1, 2 of this indictment. Any defendant so convicted shall forfeit to United States of America the following: all right, title, and interest in any and all property, real or personal, constituting or derived from any proceeds traceable to any of the defendants of any of the offenses, all rights, title, interest in any firearm or ammunition involved in or used in any such offenses, to the extent such property is not available for forfeiture, a sum of money equal to the total value of the property described in subparagraphs A and B pursuant to Title 21, United States Code Section 853, as incorporated by Title 28 and Section 2461. Any defendant so convicted shall forfeit substitute property up to the value of the property described in the preceding paragraph if, as the result of any act or omission of said defendant, the property described in the preceding paragraph or any portion thereof cannot be located upon exercise of due diligence, has been transferred, sold, or deposited with a third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, and has been commingled with other property that cannot be divided without difficulty. So they're going to basically seize assets, basically. And they probably have put liens on things right now. I mean, they probably don't have access to money, things of that nature, which they're arrested. But if they have, like, family and they're sharing accounts, or somebody owns a home, if it's traceable back to this crime, it's being forfeited, basically. So forfeiture allegation 2, pursuant to 32.2 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, notice is hereby given that the United States of America will seek forfeiture as part of any sentence pursuant to Title 18. So, I mean, really, not to say that these guys don't have anything, but we probably can assume that Durk does, right? So this will, and then he's got a company, he's got a business, all of these things, publishing. Okay. Look, okay. Um, in the event that any defendant's conviction of the offenses set forth in any of the counts. So keep in mind, Durk's name is not on this indictment, but Durk had not been arrested yet. They were still saying co-conspirators, known, unknown, type thing. They would arrest him a week later, which just happened on the 24th. This was executed on the 17th, and these people were all arrested on and around the 17th of October. Girl, baby. Mm. Any defendant so convicted shall forfeit United States of America, shall forfeit to the United States of America the following: all right, title, and interest in any firearm, ammunition involved in and used in any such offense, to the extent such property is not available or forfeiture and not available for forfeiture, the sum of money equal to the value of the property described in subparagraph A, pursuant to Title 21, United States Code, Section 853, as incorporated by Title 28, United States Code 2461. Any defendant so convicted shall forfeit substitute property up to the value of the property described in the preceding paragraph as the result of any act or omission of said defendant. The property described in the preceding paragraph or any portion thereof cannot be located. The exercise of due diligence has been transferred, sold to, deposited with a third party, has been placed beyond the jurisdiction of the court, has been substantially diminished in value, or has been commingled with property that cannot be divided. So this is the and it's signed Mac Jenkins, Assistant United States Attorney, Ian Yanello, Assistant United States Attorney, Chief General Crimes Section. Mac is the chief of the criminal division. So Assistant United States Attorney, Chief Criminal Division, Assistant United States Attorney, Chief General Crimes Section, and Daniel H. Weiner, Assistant United States Attorney, International Narcotics, Money Laundering, and Racketeering. Okay. Oh, and my neck hurts. Okay. My God. Baby. Hold on. Whew. That was a lot. So, this is going to be interesting. Now, I don't think, now we've seen with the federal court, with what's going on with Diddy, that you don't really get to see a whole lot. Cameras are not in the courtroom. We see those artist renderings of what's going on. So don't expect to see cameras in the courtroom. What I do, let me search. Let me just search one thing, because if we know, they wouldn't, local news would not have known unless this happens a lot in LA. But let's see. Beverly gas station shooting in Los Angeles, California. And I should know this date. 2022. Let's see. Let's do machine gun. I wonder if when this was reported, like let's say 2 years ago. Okay, let's see. 3 Okay. 3 sought in fatal shooting at gas station near Beverly Center. This is August 20th, 2022. Let's see. Hold on a second. All right.
Gas station gunfire. The LAPD looking for 3 people involved in a shooting that killed a man near the Beverly Center. NBC4 has learned.
Oh, come on. It's like the buffering has been really crazy this week. Okay. All right, let me switch my internet and see. Okay.
Industry who is from out of state. Hello, and thanks for joining us.
The victim is located.
And I'm Lolita Lopez in for Jonathan Gonzalez. NBC4's Darcia Phillips is live in Hollywood with an update on this investigation. Darcia.
Gas station gunfire. The LAPD looking for 3 people involved in a shooting that killed a man near the Beverly Center. NBC4 has learned the victim is connected to someone in the music industry who is from out of state. Hello, and thanks for joining us. I'm Kathy Vara.
And I'm Lolita Lopez in for Jonathan Gonzalez. NBC4's Darcia Phillips is live in West Hollywood with an update on this investigation. Darcia.
Lolita, Kathy, investigators not revealing the victim, the identity of the victim, or anyone who was inside the vehicle, but we're right across the street from the Beverly Center. This is a very busy intersection where multiple shots were fired at the mobile gas station behind me. It was fired at a Cadillac Escalade. The driver pumping gas. He jumped in his vehicle, tried to get to safety, and came to rest at Santa Monica and San Vicente. We are right across the street from.
Y'all, okay, so this is the footage of you know, anytime anything happens, the news is there.
Beverly
So
Center
we're
Sheriff's deputies pulled out a 23-year-old man who was shot and would not survive his injuries. The Escalade appeared to have stopped abruptly just outside of the West Hollywood Sheriff's Department, not far from that mobile gas station. The window blown out by apparent gunfire. Now, sheriffs say there were about 3 to 4 people inside the Escalade, but could not tell NBC4 if any of those people fired a weapon back at the shooter. Again, the victim's identity not known at this time. Neither are the identities of the people inside that Cadillac Escalade. Now, this shooting happened just after 5:30 Friday. According to detectives, the Escalade was at the gas pump. The driver was pumping gas at the mobile gas station when a white 4-door sedan drove up the alley. 3 people got out and at least 1 person began shooting. Witnesses say they heard multiple shots and then saw the car drive away heading eastbound just north of Beverly Boulevard. Now, sheriff's not saying what the motive was at this time, but the mobile gas station tells me that police do have the surveillance footage of this shooting that clearly shows what happened. Anyone with any information is asked to contact the West Hollywood Sheriff's Station. That's the latest from Beverly Grove.
okay.
I'm
Let's
Marsha Phillips. So send it back to you guys.
okay. Let's look. So this is so. Let's just so what the reporter just said. This was on August 20th. Okay. So the day after the shooting, they had already had all that information. Okay. The day after, they knew it was a white sedan. They saw it parked in an alley. Like this was, look, they already had all of that. Okay. Is this it? Okay.
It
Here we
happened
go.
across the street from the Beverly Center at La Cienega and Beverly. The desperate driver then sped away, stopping in West Hollywood.
Tonight, our Lauren Posen is live in Beverly Grove where the shots were fired. She has the latest tonight. Lauren?
Well, there's still a lot going on here tonight. I've counted dozens of detectives. They're still canvassing the scene, trying to piece together what exactly happened here. And I've counted dozens of crime scene markers, too, in the alley. And that is because this is where police say the suspects came in from. They say it happened about 5:30 this afternoon. Police say the suspects were in a white car that turned into this mobile gas station from this alley and then started shooting at a black Escalade. Witnesses say they heard multiple shots, followed by the white car speeding off, heading north of Beverly.
We need help from the community. We don't know why or how this happened. All we know is that the victim vehicle, they pulled up, they were pumping gas, and it looks like they probably finished pumping gas, and the suspects approached from the alley, got out of the car, and started shooting at those victims.
Not normal for the area. This is not acceptable.
Now, detectives say that the victim's SUV was then found pulled over with its doors open near Santa Monica Boulevard and San Vicente in West Hollywood. Paramedics rushed the victim to the hospital where he later died. Police don't have any description of the suspects other than they had on dark clothing. Right now, police are not releasing the name of the person who died. They only told us that he is 23 years old. They're waiting to tell his family, notify his family. Now, this really has people alarmed here. We've been out here since 6 o'clock, and people have been stopping by asking us what's been happening, and we tell them, and they are very alarmed. This is right across the street from the Beverly Center. There's a lot of hotels, a lot of restaurants around here, and as you heard the person that lives here, he told us this is not normal for this area, so people are definitely on edge about this. And again, police are looking for 3 suspects. They got away in a white car. They have no description other than that they were wearing dark clothing. If you have any information that can help detectives in this case, police want to hear from you. Reporting live in Beverly Grove, Lauren Posen, KCAL 9 News.
I mean, look, again,
for 79 years.
they had it's like these guys were, you know, let's see if this is something. August 22nd, 2024. Okay, that's nothing concerning what we are dealing with at the moment. Okay. Y'all. Yeah. Bone chilling, right? Um, this is look, I don't know. We've seen a lot of this is why people in show business and the music industry, maybe that's why they're always like, I'm not gonna say anything. Like they're like, there's a lot going on. Clearly there's a lot going on in a lot of places, and we're just like right now we're connecting the dots easily because people didn't know this would have been connected to Dirk and what was going on, but clearly these guys left a paper trail, they left credit card trails, they left trails at the airlines. One-way tickets are treated very suspiciously. Um I don't understand why they book these one-way tickets. Girl, we just going to be stay tuned, but this is very interesting. It's very sad for the family. People have been threatened and all kinds of things. So this is not like on some cute. This is on very serious. And they're trying to protect as many people as possible because apparently, money talks. And, people will do something strange for a piece of change. You know what I mean? We've seen murder for hire plots in many, I mean, for not a lot of money. This could have been for a lot of money. Like they said, this could have been consideration for music contracts, things of that nature. So we don't really know. We just know with the documents that have been filed. So if you're just now coming in, baby, it's a lot. So go back to towards the beginning. We talked about a couple of things, but specifically we got into this. So I'm going to kind of just leave this where this is at. um I'm going to try to come back a little bit later. Maybe we'll get into a couple of phone calls with Ernesto, kind of have a little laugh or two. So many other things to talk about, but I'm working to try to get caught up because we were busy again with the Boone trial all week. So you guys know where I was and what I was doing. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Make sure to hit the thumbs up for me, okay? And I will keep you posted. I'll have the complaint for Dirk and the indictment with the folks already arrested and naming the co-conspirators 1 through 5. Well, they didn't name them, but the allegations to include those that were arrested along with co-conspirator 1 through 5. I'll put them on uh Patreon so you guys can have those over there if you want to read them for yourself. But if you want to just hear everything, it's in this video. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. Um, Comment down below if there's anything else you want to talk about. I do want to come back and talk about another veneer specialist. It was funny. I was listening to someone who was live on Instagram talking about another experience with a female veneer specialist. I don't know if she was trained by Brandon or where, but there is really a little industry of people out here trying to get in on some of this veneer money, and people who are not going to dentists and going to licensed cosmetic dentists, and um or maybe they just don't know. Maybe they're seeing documents, maybe there's fraudulent certificates, fraudulent dental diplomas. Who knows what these people are doing to make people think that they are able to perform these procedures. But baby, if you don't see a diploma from a dental school, you don't see their bachelor's degree, you don't see their dental diploma, you don't see a board certification, maybe even a license to operate on the wall, run, run. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm over here credentialing everyone. But I know when I walk into the doctor's offices, especially when you're dealing with chain, you're dealing with the hospital system, you already know these people have been very well credentialed. Now, people do lie, right? And people do come through with fake documents. But when you're going to dentists and private doctors' offices, usually you see their credentials all in front. They've got their degrees, they've got everything paneled and um, framed in the lobby for you to see. You see business licenses, you see all different kinds of things that give them not only the credentials, but the licenses to operate and do the things that they are doing in that business. If you don't see those things, or you can't search somebody on the board of dentistry, the medical board, if you are dealing with someone who says that they are a esthetician and maybe also a nurse, you want to look these people up and check their credentials. You just have to. I mean, I hate to say it, it's just better. It's better to go to a brick and mortar business, and also when you're walking in the door, doing your visual checks to see what is going on, and sometimes just being a little discerning to say, is this person like, I hadn't seen it done like this before. Because these people have lost teeth. They said that there have been contamination. People are cheap. They want to have the look, but they don't want to have the proper service. I feel you on that, right? I feel you on that. They're willing to roll the dice and take a chance that everything is going to be okay, rather than have it done the right way. Because even if your mouth is okay now, when your jawline caves in 2 years from now, sometimes there could be contamination that's festering, and next thing you know, you're having part of your jaw removed. Who knows? Everything doesn't always present right away. Sometimes there are things that take years to present, and then you've got a serious problem, and sometimes you're going for surgery. Sometimes there's not always treatment. Sometimes it's just emergency intervention. Girl, yeah, we've heard the braces for a long time, but these veneers, that's the new people. Everybody wants nice teeth. Brush your damn teeth. I mean, some people just don't have nice teeth, and I get it. Or some people want that cosmetic dentistry look. You got to pay. You got to pay. Anyway, I'm gonna let y'all go. Be sure to hit the thumbs up for me, and I'll come back a little bit later. Let me get some stuff done around the house, and let me put some other stuff together that I wanted for us to talk about. So I will see you, and thank you to Mom's the Boss for supporting for all of these months. So thank you for your member milestone. I appreciate you. I really do. You guys are awesome. Today was fun. I'm so glad that I could talk about this, because this is going to be, I feel like this is going to be a big case. And with all of these federal cases going on, I mean, there's clearly a lot going on out here. And this probably won't be the last. You know what I mean? Hey, Nicholas, how are you? Hey, Janetta, Mimi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Miss HLS. I'll be back. Just give me a little bit. And we'll get into some more stuff. Okay. All right, you guys. Internet traffic. Just me traffic. Okay. Yeah, let me close some of my, sometimes getting into these the news clips, baby, it's just a lot. Anyway, all right, guys, let me let y'all go before I start rambling. You guys take care. Have a wonderful Sunday. If I don't see you again, until later. Bye, guys. You know what, guys? Okay, let me just say this real quick. I thought of something. So, do you guys, so remember, let me tie this back to Nesto. So, so Dirk's lawyer in another matter, how about it was Nicole Mormon? You guys know who Eileen Nicole Mormon is? That's one of the lawyers that Erica Kang used her name. Nick Benzine, Nicole Mormon. When Mark Kroll received those bogus cease and desist letters, that was from Eileen Mormon. Eileen Mormon represented who? Lil Durk in Chicago. Okay. Eileen Mormon is an Atlanta attorney. She when Kayla Bumpus first went live, she was like, and she was talking about some attorneys and who she would recommend. She's like, oh yeah, Eileen Mormon, da da da. And Eileen is one of the attorneys' names, along with April Holloway. If you check the indictment, Erica Kang used Eileen Mormon's name. Eileen Mormon was an attorney for Lil Durk in Chicago. Eileen is from Chicago. She's here. She's in Atlanta. We talked about this a long time ago. She was sworn in by Judge Dunaway, okay, to the Georgia bar, and she represented Dirk once upon a time. So just throwing that out there. I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." Like, yeah. Okay. I'll see y'all later. Okay? Take care, y'all.